Time having arrived for a 7 p.m. meeting of the Board of Selectmen. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask you all remain standing, bow your heads in prayer for our friends and allies in Israel. Thank you. Please be seated. Good evening, board members. Good evening.
Good evening.
Janice Giroux, our clerk. Our town manager informed me at 4:45 on Friday that he would not be able to attend tonight, so he will not be present. And Selectman Jeff Ciccolini has a conflict with one of the establishments for the benefit of the public, so he will not be voting tonight. This meeting is also being recorded for the benefit of the public. Our first order of business tonight is we have a block party permit request of Mr. Charles Graffio, 7 Warren Road, Saugus, Mass, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Is Mr. Graffio here? Come up to the mic, Charlie. Just talk right into it.
What do you want me to say?
Your name and address. I just gave it, but you still have to do it.
Charlie Graffio, 7 Warren Road.
And is this a party that is a continuous thing every year?
It's been an ongoing thing. We usually do Labor Day weekend, but we had a lot of conflicts this year, so we put it off a couple weeks. Darren Ring is usually the one to get the permit, and I just figured I would take over and see if we could get it.
Janice, did we get a recommendation? I spoke to the police chief personally regarding this. He had no problem with the issue. Art, did you ever, should you come up, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This has been going on since at least 2017, which was the earliest permit I found. The department has no objection at all to this, as long as they follow the list of conditions that the board generally puts on there. I forwarded the conditions to Janice. Don't use a Jersey barrier or anything that permanent to block the street, different things like that. It's very, very, very simple. No fireworks, no outside burning. Just have to be able to get a fire truck, police cars in the EMS down that street if it's necessary. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Art.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Any questions from board members?
I have a couple of
Sure,
questions.
Selectman Panetta.
Good evening. So you were talking about the list of conditions, so there was no fireworks?
Oh,
What kind
I have it.
of blockage do they have on the street?
Sawhorse or tape, something like that that could be easily taken down. Yeah, that'd be fine. Just give me a second, I'll find the,
That's okay. What we'll do is we'll just, are you familiar, sir, with the list of conditions? Okay, very good. And what is the date? Thank you. We'll be good. And what is the date of your party?
We planned on October 14th, which is Saturday,
October 14th?
Mhm.
Okay.
and a possible rain date, if we could do that.
Sure. What do you want for your rain date?
Would be the following Saturday, which would be the 21st.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Any motions?
Mr. Chairman?
Selectman Panetta?
I'll make a motion to approve the block party permit request by Mr. Charles Graffio, 7 Warren Road, Saugus, Mass, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. for October 14th, 2023, with a rain date of October 21st, 2023. The party goal was, will follow the list of conditions, as you will get a copy of those from our clerk.
Yep.
Which include no fireworks and the correct blockage and anything else that the police recommends.
Yep, correct.
Chair seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Good luck. Charlie, one sec. Nick, while you're here, can you come up to the podium? Go right over there. I just want to introduce Mr. Nick Graffio to the public. case you don't know Nick, Nick announces all our sports, every sport at the high school. He's a volunteer position. He does a fantastic job, and I just want to recognize you.
Thank you
today.
so much.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Next, we have our continued public hearings on the cannabis establishments. What I would like to say, the way I would like to conduct this hearing tonight, I would like to give each place 10 minutes to come up to the podium, up to the mic, and address any questions or give us any additional information that would help us make the decisions tonight. After we hear our last one, if there are any motions to be made to approve or deny, we will do it at that point in time. So we'll keep the hearings open until we hear them all, and then we'll board members can make motions to either approve or deny an applicant at that point in time. But I want to give everyone 10 minutes. to present.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
just
Serino.
before we begin, we did have a scheduled hearing October 4th, and then you couldn't make that hearing, and you texted us and moved it to the 10th tonight.
Yep.
Janice, did you re-notify the abutters? You have to re-notify the abutters. If we showed up for the 4th and then continued it to the 10th, that would be fine, but where we've never had a meeting on the 4th, the abutters have to be re-notified. Did you re-notify all the abutters for all these applicants? No. So we really can't go forward with the hearing tonight. It'd be an illegal hearing. So I think we should just continue this hearing to whenever.
Well, I'm glad you said that because, according to our town charter, the town manager is supposed to be at all hearings, and he's not here at the last one. He's not here tonight. So if we're going to proceed and continue, it would be beneficial to have the town manager here because as the entire board knows, I do not accept the findings of the Merck report. I took the time and went out and viewed every establishment that applied, whether it's a cultivation site or a dispensary, and I don't agree with that report whatsoever.
Mr. Chairman, just to respond to that,
Go right ahead.
as you know, Uma Flowers, their attorney responded in the press, and quite frankly, I think we're going to end up in a court battle here. But in regards to the manager, like I said, we do have separate roles, and the town council, John Vasapoli, sent an opinion several weeks ago. The role of the Board of Selectmen is exclusively as a special permit granting authority for the use of a marijuana establishment at a particular location under the zoning bylaws of the town of Saugus. This role does not include discussion or negotiations of benefits to the town pursuant to a host community agreement, as the negotiation of a host community agreement is conducted by the town manager as outlined below. Under Article 2, Section 13 of the town charter, the town manager awards all contracts for all departments. As a result, the town manager and not the Board of Selectmen who negotiate and execute a community host agreement with potential marijuana establishments under the above statute. The town manager may establish the process and criteria for selecting our marijuana establishments, which he did, and the subcommittee does advise them, and that's under also in the Mass Cannabis regulations, they recommend that. So in conclusion, the roles of the Board of Selectmen and the town manager are separate and distinct in the regulation of operation of a marijuana establishment within the town. The Board of Selectmen sit as a special permit granting authority under the zoning bylaws, and the town manager negotiates and executes a host community agreement with marijuana establishments that meet the criteria that he had established. We're here tonight for a location, not to discuss the qualifications of a marijuana
No.
establishment, which I also would take into account. But those things are two separate agreements here. We're looking at a location.
No, we're looking at granting an S2 permit. We're not discussing a host community agreement. That is the role of the town manager. I understand that. It is our job to grant an S2 permit. I have questions as to why the committee recommended certain places based upon the locations that we'll be voting on. I know no one else took the time to go and view all the establishments and the qualifications of the applicant and the way they do business. I did. If it wasn't for me, we'd have no one here tonight in this room. I brought marijuana to Saugus for one reason, to generate revenue for the town of Saugus. We can have up to 3 licenses. The committee recommended 2. Apologize for that. I don't have an answer as to why they only recommended 2. I would like an answer for that. And I would like to understand why certain locations have better scores than others when, in my opinion, they make absolutely no sense. I wholeheartedly respect the police chief's opinion on police matters, the fire chief's position on fire matters, the the building commission opinion on certain matters. Everyone has a certain role. But when it comes to business and understanding how business is operated and what I would like to see in the town of Saugus and who I think is going to make it here and who is not going to make it here, I want to have that discussion. I've been asking for this for months, and all I get is lip service, or I get an opinion from town council that we're not conducting the host community agreement. And I'm not. That's up to the manager to negotiate. That's not our role. But when it comes to granting an S2 permit, I'm not just going to be told this place and that place, vote on it. You guys want to rubber stamp everything he says? Go right ahead. That's not what I'm doing. That's not why I get elected. I get elected to represent everyone, not the one person that sits next to Janice, and I'm not going to do that. So
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a
if
motion.
he would like to sit here and explain his report, I have no problem with it. But I am not going to just take something handed to me and I'm going to take that and that's it. We can file an amendment period and have everyone start the process over, because that report is inconclusive. It makes no sense to me. I would like to see the board actually go out and take a look at the sites. You are granting an S2 permit based upon location, but wouldn't it be nice to have the right applicant at that location? I'm not doing this to get it wrong. I spent 1.5 years waiting to get to this point, and as far as I'm concerned, there's only one applicant out there that will pass. So if we heard from one applicant that he recommended, there's only one that would pass. They talked about vertical integration. Certain places have it, certain places don't. His report, in my opinion, makes no sense. I filed a disclosure for the 3 places that I knew that had an applicant there. I had a connection to an applicant. I don't know if anyone else did, but there was certainly familiar faces for one of the locations that the manager knows. He didn't file a disclosure on that. So if he's not here prepared to discuss it with the board, and you said we didn't notify the abutters, I have no problem continuing this to the next meeting, but the town manager will be here and we'll get our questions answered. If he wants to do it at a separate meeting, that's fine. But I'm not going forward in this until I understand the role of that committee and why they come up with the scores they did. You know, I've got a lot of criticism on this because I have personal connections to certain people. And thank God they didn't know I know almost everyone that's involved in this thing, because you would have got bad scores too. The report is vindictive by the town manager, and I'm not going to accept it unless I understand the findings. So if you want to make a motion to continue, that's fine. I know people flew here from Florida for this. Do you want to make a motion to continue it after the election? I don't care, but I'm not going to do anything.
Just for the record, I've had no personal conversations with any of the applicants, and I know we did receive an email from Broadway Cannabis. I don't even know who you are. You're asking for me to meet with you for 15 minutes, and I certainly didn't meet with you. So I had no contacts with any of the applicants.
Well, the reason
I know you have.
I have, because
Most
I
of them,
conducted
but I haven't.
the community outreach meetings with every one of them. I met them. I talked to them. I viewed their establishments. That's how I do business. I don't just sit back and let somebody dictate to me what I'm going to do. That's not why I run. That's not why I get elected. If you want to just run to have someone tell you this is what you got to do, why the hell do we run? I don't get it. November's coming up. If you just want to sit here and show up to have your picture taken, I don't understand it at all. That's not our job. We're here to make decisions that benefit our town, and that report doesn't do it.
My job is the residents of the community and the neighborhoods that could be abutting these establishments, and they were not notified.
That's fine.
And that's why I'm going to offer a motion down the line after everybody speaks to continue this meeting, so the abutters.
What date do you want to continue?
We have to notify all the abutters.
I want to say something to
Go
Mr.
right ahead.
Chairman. Thank you. I also received an email from Broadway Cannabis. I reached out to them today, and because I spoke with town council, and town council advised me that I should not be meeting one-on-one with any applicants because I would be violating the open meeting law. And I sent an email stating that. And I said, if you have anything you want to share, please bring it tonight and share it with everyone in the public meeting. And the applicant did not even know that we were holding the meeting this evening, and that was very concerning. So That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is I take offense where you say that we just rubber stamp everything that comes before us. I think that, and as I said this before, I think the report was done well. A lot, over 100, I don't know how many hours went into putting this together.
Certainly
And
not
whether it be an S2 permit and getting recommendations from the police chief, the fire chief, the inspectional service director, the Board of Health director, whether it be in this scenario or any other scenario that comes before the board, the town manager can make a phone call and say, hey, I don't want this to go through, if that is your way of thinking.
It is.
I know it is,
Yeah.
but that's just not so. These people are responsible people.
And they all
They are
answer to the manager.
they're very well respected, and I don't think that you're questioning their integrity.
I am not questioning their
Yes, you
integrity. I
are.
am certainly not. I talk to
Yes,
every.
you are. If you're saying that they could be influenced by what the town manager says, of course you are.
No, I am not. I talk
All
to them
right.
all individually, every single one of them. I explained why I feel the way I do, and I just, for the life of me, can't understand. And again, you did not go out and view the establishment. You did not see what's out there. If you did, if I went out with a video camera and videotaped everything I saw and came back and put it on the screen, the residents of Saugus would be scratching their head for months. How in the world did you come up with that? How did this place get all 28s? How? It makes no sense whatsoever. I went out, I did put the time in, I went and viewed the establishments. And again, communication is horrible with this town manager. I asked to sit down and review the comments of the committee. A lot of this could have alleviated if we just sat down. I asked as soon as the report came out to schedule a meeting to go over it. And he said we'd be violating the open meeting law if we did. How are you violating the open meeting law when you have a report in front of you that you're discussing? It's not violating anything. We got talking about a report that was issued. And listen, you can do what you want. You want to push, you want to have a continuation, you want to just vote what he put forward, fine. We'll end up with one establishment in Saugus, and that'll be it. You know, I can say I worked hard to get one here, but there should be three. But there's no way I'm just going to rubber stamp something. I think this board should have done its due diligence. Maybe we'll just put it off till after the election and see what happens at that point. Maybe if different people get on that want to do their due diligence and make sure we're doing what's in the best interest of Saugus, because I don't think this board does.
Mr. Chairman, just
Mr.
to
Serino.
follow up on Selectman Panetta's comments, I do want to thank the committee of all the department heads that put this report together. To criticize them, whether you agree or disagree with some of it, but to criticize them publicly, they're hardworking servants for this community. I think it's a disgrace what you've been saying about them people.
Well, I haven't said anything about anyone. I haven't made one comment about anyone. I think that they made a report based upon certain criteria they were given from the town manager to fit his narrative for the report. I think if this board went out and actually saw what I saw, you would know that I'm thinking very clearly on what happened here. And why not three? Why not three licenses when we could have three? Three is a minimum. Why not have three? We only have two. Maybe he didn't like the property owner of the third applicant. You know, to me, it's mind-boggling that this board, you know, when we did Hillco, that was an S2 permit. You put 32 conditions on it and voted no. You know, we had the marijuana, we had the tattoo parlor. You sat through 2 meetings, and then at the third meeting said you had a conflict after Mr. Serino voted no. You want to talk about craziness? I've never seen anything like that happen.
Oh,
Yes.
so now we're bringing that up. Okay. I sat through one meeting and then I explained. I talked with town council that day when I found out there was a conflict. And I explained the situation. And then I called the Ethics Commission, and they told me that I could not proceed. And I asked if I could file a disclosure, and they said that I couldn't. And you had the nerve to call me unethical.
Two meetings in. It wasn't the first meeting. It wasn't before it started. It was 2 meetings in after a vote was cast. That is not
No,
the way
sir,
we
it
do
was the
business.
second
Yes, it
meeting.
was. It was after the vote. It was 2 meetings continued. It was the third meeting we actually voted.
I did the right thing.
Mr. Chairman?
You should have done it before the
I did
hearing
it when I
started.
found out about it.
Mr.
And
Chairman?
after a vote was cast. Yes.
No, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Mike
Chair.
voted no, and then you said you had a conflict.
I explained that I had a conflict.
After Mike voted no.
I explained that I had
I
a
know
conflict.
you explained it, but after a vote
And
was
if it
taken.
wasn't, and if I just walked out, that tattoo parlor never even would have been put in because I just would have walked out and you wouldn't have had your 4 votes.
Well, you did do it that way, though. Just so we're clear.
I
That's what you
did it the way I was explained, but from
It
town
should have been
council,
done
I listened
before
to
a vote
town
was passed.
council,
We called
and
for a
I
vote.
listened to the ethics commission.
We called for a vote was
You know
cast,
what?
and then,
You want to bring up things, seriously?
yeah,
Okay. Well, how about you committing fraud?
on what?
How about you going for win waste and you signing people's names? Why don't we talk about that?
Well,
What
talk
about
about
we
it.
talking about
Talk about it
Uma
if you want.
Flowers
Talk about
and
it.
how the terrible things that you said about them and we might be under potential litigation? How about that?
Listen, we got a
How
report.
about the homophobic remarks that you make
Oh,
all
here we
over
go.
Facebook?
Here we
How
go.
about that? You want to bring
Mr.
up stuff?
Chairman.
Really?
Here we go, Deb. Here we go.
Selectman Pinella.
I've already been through all this crap, and I'm sure it's coming up again. I really don't care. You
Mr.
say whatever you
Chairman.
want. Yes.
We cannot vote on anything because we have to let the residents vote
Correct.
again?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that I'd like to make a motion to move this meeting to a future date. Will come up maybe after the election, whenever, that the abutters are notified again, and we'll discuss when those things happen.
Scheduled for the first meeting in November, after
I'll
the
make
election.
that
So the
motion
election's the
then.
7th, swearing in is the 8th. It'll be the first meeting after that, and we'll address it at that time. I'm sorry that to waste everyone's time. I didn't know the abutters list weren't sent out. Perhaps if Mr. Serino knew that earlier, we could have told you all not to have to fly here. I apologize for the inconvenience of you being here tonight, but I've sat through many hearings on this board where things are drawn out unnecessary. This is not being drawn out unnecessary. I want to get this one right. There's a lot going on here. This is a lot of money to this community, and we want to get it right. So, again, I apologize to you for being here tonight. We will get it right.
Motion.
Motion to
Could I say one last thing?
go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to thank the applicants for being here tonight. They've invested a lot of time, money, and resources to set up a spot here in Saugus, and it is sincerely appreciated.
We have a, go ahead, Mike.
Sorry for the applicants to show up tonight, but I know he tries to blame Mr. Serino, but he's the chairman. He should have known 2 weeks ago. He wants to run the town. What a joke. This whole board's been not too good over the last year.
Yes. So the meeting is going to be continued to the first meeting in October. That'll be up to the new board and the new chairman to set that date. So that'll be after November 8th, after swearing in, and we will take it from that point.
I think we should do a date, Anthony.
So the 7th is a Tuesday. Want to do the 21st, November 21st?
Yeah.
That works. Notify all the abutters, Janice. Selectman Riley offers a motion to, Selectman Riley's offer a motion to, excuse me, sir, do you have a question? We can do the 14th. It's right after the election. We can do that. Gives us time to notify everybody and post it in the paper. That work? Does that work for everyone here? November 14th? Tuesday, November 14th? We'll start at 7 o'clock. And again, you'll all get 10 minutes, and then after everyone makes their 10-minute presentation, at that point, we will bring everyone back, we'll bring applicants up that we're going to either approve or deny. Hopefully, we'll have clarification by then, and we can proceed with this process and get some places open. So, Chair seconds that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Meeting's adjourned.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.